On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 6 Super Saiyans, 5 golden freezes for some reason, 4 Rizzo references, 3 seasons of Snafu, 2 co-hosts for the King of Anime podcast, and the anime Dragon Ball Z. We have made it to 2015. 2015 I think it was a pretty solid year. Overall, I think 2013 and 14 had some of my favorites, but 15 was pretty solid, and I enjoyed it very well. Let's get into this. Death Parade. Oh, Death Parade. Madhouse Studios. This was originally like a short OVA, and they turned it into a full-length TV show. Death Parade. It's kind of weird. Like, there's 2 people that end up in this like purgatorium type setting, and this butler guy says, hey, come on over, we're gonna play a game. And this wheel spins around and it picks what game that these 2 people play, and these 2 people have to compete against each other, and they remember how they die while simultaneously playing the game. It could be anything from like darts, I think there was like billiards. I can't remember all the games, but those were like the main ones. And you have to choose which one is going to just go and never be seen again, and the other one who gets reincarnated. Which is a pretty, how can you pick who's gonna like live or die? And I think that was the whole theme of the whole show. And I loved where Death Parade got into that whole situation where you're basically just a bartender, and you are responsible for this person's life. How can you make such a rash decision after knowing them for like 30 minutes? I love the show overall. I love the characters. I love the intro to this show, because it's completely nonsensical. Like, you look at the intro to Death Parade, it's absolutely nothing like the show itself, but I think that's what makes it so good. But overall, Death Parade is a really great one. It had a bittersweet ending, and I really thoroughly enjoyed that show very much. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stardust Crusaders, Battle in Egypt. This is the second part to Season 3, where we finally get to meet Dio, and the epic fight happens. This season, there was a lot of filler. Past season had a lot of filler. Don't get me wrong, there was some filler that could have been taken out a long time ago. But when it leads up to the final fight between Jotaro and Dio, that is the best. The best when it comes to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like, it led up to that, and it was spectacular. I loved it. I know they made other seasons after this, but in my opinion, the 3rd season was the best. It wasn't perfect. It kind of got goofy in certain places, don't get me wrong. But overall, if they would have cut down on that filler and just made it more of a tight-knit like season, this could have been legendary. And to me, it already is. It's not perfect, but I still enjoyed it all the same, and it had a great ending that basically sealed the series. They could have ended it right there, and it would have been known as being a masterpiece. But we know that was short-lived. Kokoro no Basket Season 3 is easily their least popular season, at least to me. It's good, and we lead to the final match. That was basically the finals. There's some things that animes do that kind of annoy me, where when you're in the middle of one arc, you get thrown into another arc out of nowhere. And that's what happened. It wasn't like it was like one episode either. It felt like it was like 5 or 6 episodes where we saw this giant flashback of what the team was beforehand, and it's like, we really didn't need that story. Like, I feel like sometimes it works. Sometimes you need that flashback episode to see where everything came from, but Bleach was notorious for doing shit like this, and it was just annoying. That's what kind of threw me off, but it ended well. and I enjoyed the ending. I just wish that part wasn't thrown in there to force us to watch 6 unnecessary episodes that we didn't need to watch. It easily could have been its own movie or OVA, but we didn't need to see it. Food Wars. Food Wars, or Shikogi no Soma. This anime made popular the freaking foodgasm. Foodgasms are a real thing, and it's because of this show. There was a show I saw the previous season that I thought was like ridiculous in the sense. I don't know what it was called, but it was made by Shaft, and I know that because of the head tilts. And they made these food, and they would eat it, and they would get oh so excited. That was nothing compared to this show. When people eat food in here, their clothes come off and they get all kinds of excited. It's goofy, it's ridiculous. It makes me hungry every time I watch it, but I love this show because of how goofy it is. 19 Romantic Comedy Snafu Season 2. I never thought in a million years that this show would get a Season 2. I was so used to shows not getting a Season 2 that I just became numb to it, because I had so many ones that I enjoyed that when they announced that this was getting a Season 2, I was ecstatic. But then when I found out it was going to be by a different studio, I was nervous, because the same studio that was going to make this one made frickin' Kiss Sis, and that easily is one of my worst most hated animes that I've ever seen. So yeah, I had reason to be nervous, but after I saw the first episode, not only did the animation look better, but oh my gosh, I knew that we were in good hands because they just did everything right. Animation feel was great. And as much as I loved the first season, the second season just was that much better. And maybe it was because of the animation, maybe it was the introduction to a new character that we never got from the first season. But for me, episode 8 of season 2 was when I realized that I was going to love this show forever, because that was a masterpiece. That was an amazing episode. Snafu will go down as being one of my favorite slice of lives, and this season was the reason why it was. Classic Memories. This one is a very unique one where basically you have this guy who's like a cop, and in the future they have these robot assistants that help him, and there comes a point in which they live a certain amount of years and then they have to get like dismantled or whatever because they're robots. He falls in love with this robot, and the way that they handled the ending, since I'm not going to spoil it or give it away, was very mature and very much what you would have expected it to have been if it was in a real setting. Because I thought for a second there they were going to go the whole ridiculous, goofy, drag it out longer route, but they never did that. They kept it very grounded, and I appreciated the show for doing that. I thought that was a really nice touch for what they did. And overall, I thought it was a pretty solid show. It did have some goofy side characters that I didn't particularly care about, but the main guy and the main girl android were solid. Sound Euphonium! I just like this show. I don't really have anything else to say other than like this show is fun, it's exciting, I enjoy the characters, I enjoy the animation because again this is Kyoto. I like the huge Yuri undertones. You think it's just like, just kiss already, just kiss, but they never do. But overall, the music's great, of course. You would hope a show like this is good with their music, but yeah, this is a fun show. If you haven't checked it out and you love Kyoto, definitely check this out. My love story is another one of those romantic animes that I think is really well done. The main character is basically the character that you see in other animes who is kind of like on the side, and he always roots on his friend. He's a good friend. You wish he had some screen time. This guy is larger than life. Like, he is huge, 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 huge. He's a big, bulky dude. And the woman, or the girl that he falls in love with, she's a short, tiny little thing. And it's cute, and it's adorable. And this is one that it had like 24 episodes. But I wish it could have gone on longer, because I could have watched their dynamic forever. And unlike most romantic shows, they start dating like after the 3rd episode. So you get to see their progress as a couple, which is nice. I really enjoyed that. Check it out if you're into that sort of thing. The Labyrinth of Grisaia and the Eden of Grisaia. One is a movie, that's The Labyrinth of Grisaia, which basically is a prequel that sets up the sequel. So The Labyrinth of Grisaia is when our main character was younger and how he got to be the person that he is today, how he became a crazy, cool main character, and how he got to basically just have sex with his adopted mother and and her friends when he was like 12, which is weird. It's weird when you say it like that, but it makes him cool whenever he's 17, because he's just like, oh yeah, I've gotten it before. Totally not a thing. I'm not a... He tried to lie and say he was a virgin, but he wasn't. Then the Eden of Grisaia is the sequel to the Fruits of Grisaia. I hope you're not confused, because that's where we are right now. And it's basically goofy. It's ridiculous. In my opinion, the Fruits of Grisaia is my favorite one out of all of them, but Eden of Grisaia has a real solid ending. And at least it has an ending. Most animes that are this goofy don't even have like an ending, and it's a solid ending. Definitely check them out if you like the Fruits of Grisaia. Overlord is another isekai, but it's a different type of isekai, where basically our main character is playing a game, and this game is going to be shut down, and then it's never going to be played again because the servers are going off. And then he's like playing it. As soon as the servers go off, his body gets transported into his character, and he's like super powerful too. I forget his full name, but I know it's like Voldigold. Ainz Voldigold, that's what it is. He's like the king, the ruler, whatever. He's supposed to be like a villain. That's why he's called Overlord. One of my favorite characters is, of course, the one that's like completely in love with him, Elibedo. She's a knockout. She has that, you know, she's crazy if anybody wants to touch him. But she's more than happy to do whatever he says. It's pretty much a fun show. Like an OP main character just owning everybody while being this skeleton thing. Super fun, super fun. Monster Musume. This is another guilty pleasure of mine. I really enjoyed watching this show. It's another traditional harem type, except instead of humans, they are monsters. And not just like, you know, I'm a cat lady with ears, I'm an adorable vampire with fangs. No, they are like these monsters that are just absolutely huge. And what I mean by that is, you have this giant snake serpent, you have this bird looking thing where her bottom half is like literal like bird feet, this horse looking thing, like she's a centaur, and her whole body is like a horse except for obviously this part right here. You have like a spider, like a giant ass fucking spider. Like, that's the thing that just made me interested in, is because of how ridiculously huge and very monstrous that they are. Because when you think of a cat person, you don't think just the ears and just the tail. They went with this whole person is a reptile. This whole person is a bird. And that's what I appreciated with this one. And it's goofy, it's ridiculous, and it's very much ecchi and sexualized, but I love it. As stupid as it is, I love it. Dragon Ball Super. When I heard that they were going to basically come out with a brand new series of Dragon Ball, first I was just kind of like, I don't know why they're trying to rehash an old series. It's done, it's over with. I mean, I read into it. Super basically takes place after Kid Buu saga, so there's no Oob, there was no tournament at the end of Dragon Ball Z. Like, all of that has basically been retconned. So with this, we got a brand new series, and I'll definitely want to go more into this series when I talk more about it, but I just want to say as a whole, it was really fun to watch all the old voice actors get back together and do this show. I had to wait a little bit to see, you know, Sean Schimmel and Chris Sabat do their voices again, but it was worth the wait when I finally saw it. Like I said, I can go more into the sagas later, but overall I just thought it was okay. The best and the highlight of it is, of course, the last arc where it was the whole battle for all the different universes and Goku's fighting Jiren and he turns fucking Ultra Instinct. That was his best transformation. Like, out of everything that he did, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan God, you know, the blue hair, whatever. But Super freaking Ultimate Instinct looked fucking cool. I enjoyed the way that it looked. And then when he went, I guess, like Super Ultra Instinct, where his hair was all silver and white, that was even cooler. Like, that was the highlight of the whole show, was when he went super godlike. That was awesome. Other than that, I can go more into it if you guys want me to. Like, with future videos, just let me know. But as of right now, that's all I gotta say. Roka, Braves of the Six Flowers. This one, probably no one ever watched. Because every time I bring it up, no, everybody's just like, I have no idea. This is a unique one. It's fantasy. It's got a little bit of murder mystery. Kind of like a whodunit type scenario. Because I guess from what I remember, the way that it works is there's 6 people that get summoned and they're called the Braves of the Six Flowers. And they get this they wake up with a mark on their hand. And then when they go and they meet all these other people, because they're going to go and they're going to fight something. I don't know. Some bad guy. When they meet up, there's 7 people instead of 6. So one of them is an imposter. This is basically Among Us, before Among Us was a thing. There's an imposter among us. And the whole time they're trying to figure out who is the imposter and who is the fake, because I guess the fake is a bad guy. I enjoyed the intrigue and the mystery. I thought it was really neat. The animation was really cool and slick. It never got a sequel, and this is one of those I wish we could have seen a sequel, for sure. Gangsta. Not only is it one of the coolest names for an anime ever, but this anime itself is neat, it's cool, it's sleek. Another one where I wish it could have had a second season. This freaking show bankrupted the animation studio that made this, which is sad to even think about. But Gangsta was fun. I really wish we could have seen more of Gangsta, but God, and the way that it ended too was just so bad. It ended with one of the main characters holding their stomach bleeding out to death in the rain, and then it just ends, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I think that's when they ran out of money. But the characters are cool. You have a deaf, like, swordsman. You have like these people with scars all over their face, and they're fighting one another. That's a show that I wish someone needs to pick it up and reboot it. Something. The fall season was pretty much, I don't know, it wasn't that good during this time of year, except 2 shows that came out. One of them is now my all-time favorite. One Punch Man. One Punch Man came out of nowhere. I had no idea what the show was about, and then Madhouse decided to grab a hold of this and said, we're gonna animate it, and oh my god, it's amazing. It's about this guy who is so incredibly strong, Saitama, who could defeat people with just one punch. That's how strong he's gotten. And you think to yourself, how could you make an interesting show about somebody who can only kill people with one punch? How fun is that? I mean, yeah, I love overpowered characters, but at least they have some weaknesses. This guy has no weaknesses. And I'll be damned if they didn't. They made it really awesome. You have, you know, Genos, this like cyber android looking thing, and then you have all these other different heroes, and it's crazy because Saitama becomes a hero, but he's known as a class C because there's S, which is the super strongest, and then A, B, and C, which is him, and then you have all the others below. But he got Class C because I guess there's a written exam, but then there's an exam for physical strength. He crushed physical strength like nobody else's, but the written part is the one where he failed. So that's why he didn't get S right away, because it easily shows Saitama would be stronger than everyone in Class S. He's that strong. There are references to so many different animes in there, from Dragon Ball Z to Attack on Titan, you know, any kind of mechs. It's awesome. This show is just eye candy. It's so great. I was so happy when this came out, and it just did my heart well just to see it just to get the popularity that it deserved. One Punch Man is one of my all-time favorites. Noragami Origato, or basically the second season of Noragami. Pretty much the same, except we delve more into Yato's background. He's a pretty sick dude, but badass as hell. And overall, I need more of this show. I need more of this show. This is a great show. I want more of this show. And that was it. That was all of 2015. Let me know if there was an anime that I didn't suggest that you think I should watch. See you in the next video.